Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to this evening's meeting of the regular monthly meeting for the East Montgomery County Improvement District. We always begin with a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will ask Director Rogers to lead us in prayer and Director Ibarra to lead us in the pledges. If you'll please rise.
Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord, with such humble hearts, asking you to forgive each and every one of our sins, Lord. Ask you, Lord, if you would just take over this meeting tonight and make sure that each and every representative of the board speaks and do the right things to help our community, Lord. We ask you, Lord, if you would go with us through this meeting and through each and every one of them on our way back home tonight. We ask all in Jesus' precious holy name. Amen.
Face the flag and join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag, please. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the United States, one state under God, one indivisible. Thank you.
It seems our sheet is missing. Had anybody signed up to speak this evening? Okay. We will go ahead and move on to number 2 item on our agenda.
I did want.
I'm sorry?
I did want to speak at the South Side.
Okay. If you'll turn the microphone on, if you look at the bottom, there's a little button. And what is your name, sir?
Michael, last name Carl.
C-A-R-L?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
First question that I have for the board is basically, I know you guys do votes. What constitutes a local company? Do you guys have a chart or anything in writing?
Sorry, sir, we don't do question and answers. You're welcome to address the board with any statements, but we cannot engage in conversation.
Oh, so you guys, okay. Okay.
Is that it? Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Let me turn that off. Okay, the next item is to consider and act upon approval of the minutes of the Board of Directors meeting held on May 14th, 2015.
So move.
Okay, there's a motion made by Director Ibarra,
I second.
seconded by Director Rogers. Is there any discussion?
Last month meeting, I thought we were talking about Heaven's Army and not Horizon. We were talking about Horizon on the...
Right, Heaven's Army, I believe we moved to the fall grant writing session,
Okay.
and we addressed we went ahead and approved the New Horizons. Is that it?
Yep. I just misread it or didn't understand it in the meetings.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other conversation? All right, all in favor of approving the minutes? Unanimous, thank you. The next item is to consider the execution of the grant agreements and presentation of community development grants. And I believe we have those ready to be presented. Okay. Are they all signed already?
Yeah.
You'll have to come on over to the board. I'll share.
Sherry, we'll start with you, New Horizons.
Okay.
You got the right side?
Yes, right here, and we're going to do that too. Y'all are awesome.
Sure, smile.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, if y'all could just move down a little bit so that
This
everyone,
way, this
All of
way.
us?
so that I'm not getting the picture of the window.
How's this? Is that better?
Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Thank y'all. Thank you for what y'all
How
do.
much was the grant?
This check was for $28,712 for New Horizons.
Thank you so much.
Sure. For the new wheel. For the new wheel.
Yes, we have new wheels, and I'll send y'all a picture of them.
And City of Roman Forest.
City of Roman Forest.
Parks or police?
Liz, is this, let's see what I've got here.
No, we have 2.
So what's for the police department, what's for?
This is the playground equipment. Maybe the police department needs that, I don't know. Do workout equipment.
They need a workout station. Was that a blow at the chief?
Of course not.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, this grant is to the City of Roman Forest for equipment for $9,000.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you very much. Thank y'all so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, yeah, you know. Let the police run around, let the police upon the user.
Thank you. That's right. Congratulations.
Jerry, there we go. Montgomery County, East Montgomery County Historical Society.
That's us.
Time I get there, you gotta widen that camera.
No way. No way.
There we are.
And this check is for $11,000 for the Historical Society.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you.
You got it. Go do your work.
You bet.
Jerry, we need you to sign something up here. Okay. You're enlistment in the military. And East Montgomery County YMCA. We could pick you out with a shirt. Yes. Gotcha. Yes, that's why I wore it.
It's Wildcat ready.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Hey, son,
For the YMCA, this is $3,500. Y'all both get on in here and.
Sure. Who's in there? Who's your buddy?
Yeah. We're all in this together, right?
All right. Sherry, can you move your left shoulder? Thank you. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. All right.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good to see you.
Okay, well, we gotta get you up here. Ready to execute these?
That's you.
He works out everywhere. That's all right. Oh, you're not cheating with that.
I know.
Yeah, I'll get back to Montgomery County Youth Services. John Bracken, anyone from John Bracken's office?
He's here, he's coming in the door right now.
Okay,
Just stick him to the
made
back.
it just in time.
Yep, same.
Was he in the military? Come on, John.
You're just in time.
I didn't calculate traffic.
Just in time. Yeah, you were just in time.
Hey, we couldn't start that.
Over here.
Over here.
Everybody going?
Yeah, by you, good-looking guy like you.
Oh, man.
Hey, it's his already big enough.
This is for Montgomery County Youth Services for $6,000.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Dale, can you scoot that
I
over? Yeah.
can.
It looked like they didn't like you or something. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Appreciate
You
what
guys
you do.
are something
Thank you
else.
so much.
Thank you for coming down. Absolutely.
You gotta go sign
I
the
gotta
Sign the letter, huh?
Now you have to sign.
I'll sign my name.
Hey, let me ask you a question. You text me when y'all come in? Then go get something to eat.
City Road Enforcement, Police Department?
He said he was looking to order if y'all got it.
Absolutely not.
This is for the Roman Force Police Department for body cams for all the officers, $4,350.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Congratulations. Thank you for what you do.
It's hard to keep us up there while you take a picture, isn't it?
Do what?
But it's hard to keep us up there while you take a picture.
You need to come get on my exercise.
It's hard for you.
That one too?
You gotta do 30.
No, that's no problem.
Who else we got?
Right.
But officers should take pictures.
Under ISD, Science Department. All right.
Carlisle, you gonna put all this on Facebook?
We'll have to get some.
Carlisle, you gonna put all this on Facebook? That officer
Bring
taking
it back.
pictures, you gonna put the mug shots on Facebook?
Of course. Always. Come on, Ms. Martinez. That's what I do.
This one is for the Splendora ISD Junior High Science for $4,000.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. More. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Congratulations.
Yes.
That's all?
You still gotta hold it in for a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't think so. We don't have somewhere to do it.
Yeah.
At the Audiovisual Club, Splendora? Oh, you're back again?
Representing everyone.
All right, very good.
That's me
You're
too.
gonna do this one also?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
This
I'm the
one's
only
for
one
the
from
Splendora Junior High AV Club.
Go back and show the picture of the park.
Just look at the
Maybe
numbers.
swap the numbers around.
For $8,000. The Science Club got 6, this one's for 8.
Here,
I know, but you can't see that damn mouse.
everybody like this.
Yeah.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Leonard, for this one, don't suck yet.
3, 2, 1.
You gotta keep the camera steady.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're
Thank you so much.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sure.
Thank you.
Martinez, thank you.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you, sir.
The wardrobe changes.
Yeah.
Do you know what the total is of all these? Do you have that?
It's 123.
On Facebook.
Not with me tonight. Yeah, I've got it written
That's all
down
we got
here.
tonight.
Okay.
It is on, it's on our website.
I'd check. Yeah, we will. I have.
For those of you that don't know, the total amount of grants that we just awarded totals $123,572.50. So we're very ready. Okay, the next item on our agenda is to consider engagement of auditor to prepare the district's audit report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2015. Good evening.
I'm here to present the 2015 engagement package for McCall, Gibson, Sweetland, Barfoot. It's the off-white packet that I gave you guys earlier. Much like last year, the content on this has remained exactly the same. It hasn't changed for the last couple of years. The only thing, the date has changed on the first page. So with that said, I'd like you to turn over to page 5, which is the last page. And on this page here, we have the fee range. If you look about in the middle where the bullet is, the fee range for the improvement districts is between $14,000 and $16,000. Last year we built right in the middle at 15. And also the next bullet here, we have the development zones, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Last year we rolled the price for those particular audits because it is a component of the improvement district. We rolled it into the price of the audit for the improvement district. If there's any activity or anything like that in the current year, the fee range for those 4 components would be anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000. If you have any questions or anything, that pretty much sums up the engagement package.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, they're basically the same as they were last year.
Absolutely.
Everything
Yes,
is the same.
yeah, absolutely right.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we would need a motion to engage the auditor.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion by Director Ibarra and a second by Director Carlisle. Is there any further discussion on the matter? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I do have one other comment. We will send out a fraud questionnaire. Usually send out via email a couple weeks from now. If you expect any type of fraud or anything like that, fill it out and send it back to us. Otherwise, just ignore the email. We don't need it back unless you do think there's some possibility of fraud or anything like that.
Are you referring to fraud through the emails or fraud through the sales tax?
Through the sales tax.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you. Yes. We'll say dear. We'll take care of that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the next item is to consider financial, bookkeeping, cash flow, and investment reports and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith, including authorizing the payment of invoices presented or shown in such reports.
And just so you know, Kay is stuck on 242. There's been an accident on 242, so she's sitting still. So we might want to wait and do this later in the evening as she gets here. But right now, I think she called Suzanne and said that there's been an accident and she isn't here yet.
Okay, we'll just defer that till later in the meeting. The next item is any announcements? Does anybody have any announcements?
I got, Pat and Billy's is having their shindig this weekend. It's their, whatever they call it.
Freedom Fest.
Freedom Fest, okay.
That's it.
This weekend at Pat and Billy's.
I want to say that Roman Forest is going to have their the 40th annual 4th of July celebration. It's going to be all day, starting with the parade at 10, the lineups at 9 o'clock, and actually at 9:45 we're going to do a flag ceremony, have a parade, and then activities at the park. 3 o'clock, I think. Is that right? 3 o'clock, the
4 o'clock.
band Sundance
Okay,
Head is going to be there. Or is it going to be 4 o'clock? And then fireworks at dusk. So it's a big event. A lot of people go there every year. It grows every year, so I'd like to see you all there.
Do you have anything special planned?
Special. Well, there's a few special things, but I don't know all the details. I'm in charge of security. They do have some kind of ride or something, a couple little rides.
There's three new events for kids, they're going to bring in a rock wall, is one of them. I don't know what the other two items are.
I think there's some kind of slide or rock
A
wall.
slide, a rock wall, and something else.
Something else, yeah.
And it's pay as you play for those things. So you pay and you get a wristband and you play on it all day long.
Yeah, there's a few extra things because it's our 40th year anniversary for the city and the fireworks stuff. So.
Okay, any other announcements?
What time do you find the rock wall?
I'll be in the Duncan booth probably a couple of times throughout the day, and I challenge anybody here who wants to be in the Duncan booth too. So, yeah. So come and dunk the chief of police.
Anybody else? Okay. We'll move on to the next item, which is to recess to executive session to discuss real property matters pursuant to Section 551.072 Texas Government Code pending or contemplated litigation pursuant to Section 551.071 Texas Government Code, matters in which the duty of the attorney to the district under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with Chapter 551 Texas Government Code pursuant to Section 551.071 Texas Government Code and economic development negotiations pursuant to Section 551.087 Texas Government Code. And I would like to thank everybody for taking time out of your evening to be here at the meeting this evening. Your participation is very welcome and appreciated. Everybody be safe. We are recessing at 6:53. Okay, we are back in session at 8:08. The next item on our agenda is to consider status of modifications to development agreement and status of preparation of second amended and restated economic development agreement by and among Sig Valley Ranch Limited, Valley Ranch Town Center Limited, East Montgomery County Improvement District Economic Development Zone Number 1 and the district, and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith.
And with that item, that should be back to you. David has a few more modifications, and that'll be to you at the next board meeting.
Okay. The next item is to consider status of the development of the district's 12.85-acre site, including the construction of improvements and the leasing of space in the district's office building, and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith, including status of condemnation by TxDOT relative to Grand Parkway.
And just so you're aware, they started cross-cutting the parking lot today, so they'll probably be putting in some barriers to prevent trafficability to get through in and out of our parking lot. So just so you know, there'll be some trafficability issues around our parking lot with the cross-cutting of the driveway and stuff, so just be aware of that.
Okay, the next item is to consider a report on activities within the industrial park. Excuse me, if I can step out of order just a moment. We need to go back and go ahead and do the financial. We'll go back to item number 5. Are you ready for that? Okay, so we'll consider the financial bookkeeping, cash flow, and investment reports, and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith, including authorizing the payment of invoices presented or shown in such reports. Hi, Ms. Kay. Hi, I apologize. Not a problem. Verbal wreck.
There was not a lot of changes from the original report. You do have a supplemental, I believe, in front of you. We did have one transfer, we made a deposit for the hotel motel. That's on page 4. You can see that the deposit into the hotel motel account. Your cash flow on page 5 shows the checks written since the original report. You had no receipts. You had a balance forward of $498.57.63, disbursements of $137.598.09, and leaving $353.259.54 in that account. And those were your grants that you gave out tonight. There was not any change that you would notice on the budget versus actual that is in this report. We did move some things around on the actuals, but the bottom line stayed the same. He was just reclassing. And the rest of the report is the same. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Kay?
I make a motion to accept the bookkeeper report and pay the bills.
Okay, motion's made by Director Rogers
I'll second.
and seconded by Director Rivera. Is there any discussion on the matter? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Kate. Okay, now we'll move on to item 10. Consider report on activities within the industrial park and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith, including status of sale of dirt at a future detention pond, including status of contract with TDG for excavation and delivery of dirt, status of contract with Quadvest Construction for construction of roads to serve Section 3, approval of plans and specifications and authorized advertisement for bids relative to construction of roads to serve Section 4, status of plat of Section 3 and Section 4, status of contract with Quadvest Construction for construction of wastewater lift station, and status of contract with Quadvest for water distribution and wastewater collection facilities to serve Industrial Park Section 3.
Okay, we will start with item A, the sale of dirt out of the future detention pond with TDG. I believe the improvement district is still working with several of the land purchasers out there. When they are ready and know exactly what they're going to do, we then have the dirt available for them for negotiation and sale. So as a long-winded response to, we have not sold any dirt out of that yet. Item B, status contract with Quadvest Construction for the roads in Section 3. The municipal utility district has a contract to do the dirt work. There's some items with a landowner out there that's under negotiation, and we should start work hopefully within 30 to 60 days for the dirt work. Once that dirt work starts, the first thing we will do is get the road bed built, which will allow Quadvest to come in and first do the item B, which is, or the item F, the water and sanitary. Then they can come back and build the road bed after that. The plans for item C, the plans for Section 4, we're kind of on hold right now through this negotiation. Once that land deal is done, then we can finish those plans up and look to bid that project at the board's discretion. And the status of plat for Section 3 and 4, again, piece of land that connects the two until we have that firm in hand. We cannot finish the plat. So that hopefully within 30 to 60 days we'll have that rolling. And then the construction of the wastewater lift station, item E. We're talking to the contractor about that possibility of, if there's no additional cost that the improvement district would incur to have them start that project. But we don't want to have them come in and do dirt work, that we have another contractor that can do that under their contract and add it to your expense. So that is also possibly 30 days, as long as 90 days out before you can start that work. So that is item A through F.
Okay.
If there are any questions.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for me? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have nothing on G through J, so we will continue on to item number 11. Consider status of preparation of demographic study by LDP on placement of splash pad park within the district and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith.
And I visited with Yale this week, just so y'all know. She'll be ready to give us a final report within a week. So probably at the next board meeting, she'll have everything wrapped up and a final report for you guys. So she should be here next month.
Okay, thank you. Item number 12 is to consider status of incentive agreement with Saints and Sinners Brewing Company and the taking of any action required in connection therewith.
And nothing to report there other than you've seen they're in the process of revitalizing their building and getting the interior stuff cleaned out. So nothing different from the last board meeting in regards to where they are.
Okay. Item number 13, consider status of incentive agreement with Splendora 2090 Property LLC or its assignees and the taking of any action required in connection therewith.
And with that project, you can see now they started some dirt work on the site, on the location, and they're moving forward with beginning construction. But first off, they're doing a lot of dirt work and construction on the site right now, so they're getting started.
Okay. Item number 14, consider incentive agreement with Porter Quick Car Wash LLC or Porter Quick Car LLC or its assignees.
And that's an expansion project we have in the district in regards to their request for additional financing in expansion and hiring additional employees from within the district. The Economic Development Corporation today approved a $140,000 loan for their expansion to allow them to expand the canopy section of the car wash, hire 8 additional people, and then with that, we're providing a $25,000 incentive grant for them to get their project moving. And then secondly, they've agreed to contribute $25,000 into our scholarship foundation in return for those incentives for their expansion. We just need a motion on that.
I'd like to make that motion to do that.
Okay, the motion is approved, is made by Director Carlisle and seconded by Director Zepeda. Is there any discussion on the matter? All in favor? It's unanimous, thank you. The next item is to review and consider approval of policies and procedures for issuing community service awards.
So we talked about this at the last meeting. You guys wanted a way to recognize individuals from our community which have gone above and beyond just being a member of the community, interacting with the community, doing things that have provided significant impacts. What you got in front of you is just kind of a form, a nomination form, and with some parameters in regards to the criteria that we'd be looking for those individuals. The way the program basically is structured is you as board members would make the nominations, the staff would compile those nominations, and then they would come to you as a full board in open session to vote on the individuals that you would feel you'd want to have recognized at the quarterly meetings. So this is just kind of a guide and something you asked for us to put together. And if you'd like to utilize this, then we can begin it. If you want to make some modifications, just let us know.
Okay, do we need to have a motion on this, David, to accept it?
Sure.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
guess to authorize, when do you want to have the first set of awards? Is it going to be annual or?
Well, this shows quarterly.
Quarterly, yeah. We talked about quarterly at the last meeting.
Right.
Every 3 months, basically. So if you wanted us to start, we could say the first nominations need to be to us by the end of September, and then we would bring those nominations to the board in October.
Okay. So we would need a motion to accept.
Well, I'll make a motion that we accept this, but maybe there might be some discussion.
Well, we'll do that. Okay. So the motion is made by Director Carlisle. And second? Okay, by Director Rogers. Okay, and now discussion? Did you want to?
Let me read the last two.
Okay. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, well, you know, this is near and dear to Director Hessen's heart. I would hate to decide on this without him. This looks great. I think y'all did a good job. I certainly don't have any problems with it as it's presented, but I hate to act on it without him being here.
Policies and procedures and stuff for the community service awards, normally something like this would come out of the Chamber of Commerce, not us.
Well, that's why we want to do it. Because normally things come out of the Chamber of Commerce. Maybe we want to do something. I think it's a great thing.
I think
I'd
it's
like to see this
Once a year.
referred to the next board meeting. But I'd like to see.
Do we want to just vote on it as it is and then vote to defer it? Or can we just defer it without?
If everybody is in agreement to withdraw the motions that are made, then we could just defer it till next month. But
Until next meeting when Scott's here.
I still want to talk about these rules. But where did you get these rules? Did you
Just
copy
other
any of these?
nomination forms. Yeah,
So this is kind of a standard thing?
yeah.
So basically, a citizen that lives in the district for at least 5 years, not a current elected official.
Correct. Yeah, you guys said that stipulation last month. You said you wanted that included. So we included that.
Somebody that contributes to the entire district rather than just one little small area.
Right.
Where'd the idea come from? You said you guys, first time I ever heard of it, right now.
Well, Scott brought it up a couple of months ago.
Scott brought it, he had last meeting.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about it at the last meeting,
Meetings.
and you guys said you wanted it on the agenda for this meeting. So we put it on the agenda and just came up with these parameters and, you know, just to kind of give you some ideas in regards to how it could work.
So do you want to keep the motion as it is, or do you want to withdraw your motion until Scott, defer it to
When
next
Scott can be
meeting?
here.
When Scott can be here.
We will still have time to do one by October then, so.
Sure. So,
Yeah, I'll withdraw the motion,
okay.
defer it to the next meeting.
Then I'd be okay with withdrawing your second.
You withdraw your second?
I will withdraw
Okay.
my second.
Okay. All right, so the motion is withdrawn, and it will be deferred to the July meeting. Okay, the next item is to consider authorizing completion. I'm sorry, I'm about to skip one. Consider request from Records Management Officer to destroy notes of Board of Directors meetings from January 9th, 2014 to January 8th, 2015.
And this is our normal record-keeping process. We're not quite ready for that yet, but we'll have it back to you in the next month or so.
Okay, so we'll defer that one. Next item, number 17, consider authorizing completion, execution, and filing with the Secretary of State voting system, annual filing form relative to district elections.
This is a annually required filing that we do on your behalf. We put it on the agenda so that you can authorize it to be done and you know what's going on. We have to do it.
Okay, so we just need a motion.
Motion to authorize.
Okay,
Is this for your next election?
No, it's just a procedure, and they require it annually, and it doesn't directly affect your election. It's just
So
a
moved.
information collected by the Secretary of State.
What's that?
okay, so we've got a motion by Director Ibarra and a second by Director Rogers. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. The next item is to consider engagement of arbitrage compliance specialists for arbitrage compliance and audit services relative to Series 2010 bonds.
As you all know, there are limitations imposed by the federal government on your bonds that relate to their tax exempt status. And the IRS does spot checks on compliance, and this has to do with arbitrage, which is basically the investment funds at rates greater than what the tax exemption rate is on the bonds. And if you find that you have exceeded, then you're required to rebate to the federal government the differential. And then it also has to do with compliance with expenditure requirements, timetables for expending funds that are generated from tax exempt obligations. And so as a sort of insurance policy, we recommend to all of our clients that once every 5 years you do an audit. They come in, they audit your records, they do all their calculations, and give you a report. And that way, if the Internal Revenue Service were to come in and say, we want to see your compliance, who's handling this, and it's over. And it eliminates a lot of pain in the process. You may never need it at all. And certainly, rates have been low in the last number of years, well below what you can't invest your money for a higher interest rate than what your tax exempt rate is. So it's really hard to achieve arbitrage if you were trying to. That has not always been the case, and so there were times when tax exempt obligations were 4, 5, 6% below what could be invested in the market, and it was a much more complicated process. If that comes around again, then at least you're in good shape on 5-year increments. Our recommendation is you do this. Arbitrage compliance specialists charge $2,950 for the rebate calculations for the 5 years.
Okay, so is that a motion item?
Yes,
We need
you
a
need to authorize it.
Okay, so we need a motion to authorize.
I think the motion we authorize.
Okay. Motion.
auditing of the bonds.
Motion made by Director Rogers and seconded by Director Zepeda. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Oh, thank you. Unanimous. Thank you. The next item is to consider matters for possible placement on future agendas.
Is that nomination time?
Yeah, that's going to go on, and we got that deferred. Okay, anything else? If nothing else, before we close, I would like to thank Suzanne for all of her many years of dedication. This will be her last board meeting as an employee. We're going to miss you. Thank you for everything.
Over, Suzanne.
And we are...
You will not be for the July board meeting?
I'm sorry.
She might be
I just wanted to bring up about Officer Bob Fuller that got killed yesterday. He was with Constable for several years. We don't know when the funeral or anything's going to be. As soon as we find out the arrangements, I think we need to probably, EMCID needs to be represented.
Okay. Okay. If there's anything else, then we will recess. Thank you all. Okay, I'm sorry we had to put you, I'm sorry, we're adjourned. We are over. It's been a long day.
Recess.